In this video, I'm going to break down the one and only reason that people don't buy from you. And if you fix this one thing, not only will you close more jobs, I guarantee at a minimum that you will double your revenue without spending a penny more on marketing. You'll get more customers for less money, and you'll grow your profit much faster. I'm John Margalit, founder of Happy Home Helpers, a 7-figure remote cleaning business, and I also run Rags to Riches University, where I teach people like you how to build a profitable cleaning business using nothing but a phone and laptop. I've been featured on Jobber's podcast, and I was a keynote speaker at the 2025 Jobber Summit. This is my actual 1099 income statement from last year in 2024. You can see that I made $1,337,800.93. So when I talk about closing customers, I've lived it. And to make this super easy for you, I broke it down into an 8-step framework so you can apply it to your business right after you finish watching this video. So let's get into it. If you like this video when you're done watching, please hit that like button to signal to me to create more videos like this for you. Step number 1, you gotta clear out the excuses and the false beliefs. It's not because they need to check with their spouse, it's not because they're just getting quotes, and it's not about your price. Think about it. If someone fills out your form or calls your business, they're not doing it for fun. Nobody wakes up and says, you know what? I'll spend my Saturday afternoon calling around for quotes. They're calling because they need something. They're serious. And if you price a little bit higher, that's not a deal breaker. In fact, sometimes being higher helps you win because it signals quality. So if it's not the spouse and it's not just shopping around and it's not your price, then what the heck is it? Step number 2, gain a deep understanding of what causes buyer's remorse. You've heard of buyer's remorse, right? Of course you have. But have you ever heard of belief remorse? No, because it doesn't exist. Here's why. When people buy because they're persuaded or pressured, that's when regret shows up. That's when they second guess. That's buyer's remorse. But when people believe, that's when they convince themselves they're making the right choice. There's no regret, no doubt, no second guessing, because belief doesn't waver. And this is the key, because belief is the most powerful determinant in the entire sales process. Without true belief, nobody commits, no matter how great your service is. The best salespeople don't persuade. They don't push. They ask the right questions. They guide the prospect to their own conclusions, their own conviction, their own belief. Step number 3, nail the first impression. Here's the problem. Most of the time, people don't end up believing you're any different from the next company that they call. And when that happens, the only thing they think about is price. That's the trap. But here's the good news. It's easy to fix. When someone calls, they already see you as the expert. They want to believe you. The only way they stop believing is if you give them a reason to. But studies show people form opinions in less than 1 second, just by the sound of your voice. That's how fast they decide if they trust you. So your words, your tone, and your energy, they matter. That's why when I answer the phone, my first line is always the same and sounds exactly like this. Thank you for calling Happy Home Helpers. This is John, and I can help you. Think about it. That intro says you're in the right place, you know who you're talking to, and I can solve your problem without transferring you to anyone else. Now compare that to what most people say. How can I help you? That can leave doubt, but my script takes command. It sets the tone for the whole call. Step number 4, lead with gratitude and energy. It's not just the words or the way that they sound. People can literally feel you through the phone. They subconsciously decide in seconds if they like you. But when I answer, I'm not faking it. I'm genuinely happy the phone is ringing because every call means someone wants to work with my business. I'm extremely proud of that, and I want them to hear that gratitude in my voice. Some businesses wish their phone would ring more. Mine rings all day long. And that's not luck. It's because people feel how much we care. When I train my staff, I don't just teach them the script. I remind them, you could be stuck cold calling for a struggling business, but instead, you get to answer inbound calls for a company people are lining up to work with. Why? Because we show gratitude in the way that we serve, and that starts in the very first second of the very first call. Step number 5, show you're different and avoid the commodity trap. If you don't prove you're different, they think your service is a commodity, and that's the last thing you want to be seen as. A commodity is something that's the same no matter who sells it, like gas, milk, or printer paper. If they see your service that way, the only thing that matters is price. And in that game, the cheapest wins. But here's the thing. Sometimes people buy from you just because they like you. If you don't build rapport, if you don't connect with them as a person, you're just another voice reading off a number. So how do you do that? That leads me to step number 6. Guide with discovery and spin selling. Always start with a discovery call. Don't rush into a quote. Ask smart questions, listen, and actively take notes. This is where the spin selling method comes in, and you can read the book by Neil Rackham for a more in-depth explanation, but I'll give you the cliff notes. The acronym SPIN is a method for asking the right questions in the right order so the customer convinces themselves. The S stands for situation. This is where you learn where they are now. The P stands for problem. You uncover what's frustrating them or causing them pain. The I stands for implication. Show how those problems affect their life. And the N stands for need payoff. Get them to explain why solving it would be valuable. Here's why it works. When you ask these questions, the customer starts speaking their pain points and goals out loud. They literally hand you the language of their own belief. Then, when you present your service, you don't use your words, you use their words. For example, you said that you're tired of your cleaners canceling last minute. That's why showing up when we say we're going to is our highest priority. You mentioned how stressful it was when jobs aren't done right. That's why our process includes a detailed checklist every time. By echoing their own answers back, you're not persuading, you're confirming. And when they hear their concerns and desires reflected back, they convince themselves you're the right choice. That's the power of spin. It makes the customer close themselves, and it makes belief feel like it's their idea. Here's how it sounds in practice. For the situation, how often are you getting your home cleaned? For the problem, what's the biggest headache you've had with your cleaner? For the implication, how does it affect your week when they cancel last minute? And for the need payoff, if you could come home and know that the job was done right every time, how much stress would that take off your plate? And by the time you give them your price, they've already told you that you're different in their own words. Step number 7, and I do this on every call. I call it the yes game. Some people call it trial closing. All throughout the conversation, I ask simple questions I already know the customer will say yes to. Why? Because yes creates momentum. When people get used to saying yes, they stay in that rhythm. So by the time I ask for the credit card, yes is the natural answer. Sometimes it's as simple as just confirming their address. When they give it to me, and while they're saying it, I'll type it into Google really fast. And since Google auto-completes, I see the full address before they finish. Then I'll cut them off and say, oh, I know this street. The zip code is 89117, right? They always say yes. That one little yes keeps the flow going. And it also makes me sound familiar with their area, which builds even more trust. The yes game isn't about tricking anyone. It's about creating an easy, positive rhythm. Getting them comfortable with agreeing with you, so when you finally say, go ahead and give me your credit card number so I can reserve your spot, they are already conditioned to say the word that matters most, yes. That leads me to step number 8. Use the assumptive close. Let's talk about closing the call. This is where most business owners totally blow it, because they ask weak questions like, would you like to book? Or do you want to move forward? And here's the problem with that. You're asking a question that could potentially result in them saying no. That's why I use the assumptive close. It's very simple. Instead of asking if they want to book, I assume that they do, and I move straight into the details. So instead of, would you like to book? I say, what day works best for you? Instead of, can I get your card? I say, go ahead and give me your card number, expiration, and code so I can reserve your spot. See the difference? It's confident, it's natural, and it keeps the momentum moving forward. And here's the psychology behind it. By the time you've built belief with discovery questions, rapport, and showing how you're different, the customer has already decided that they want to work with you. The assumptive close simply guides them to the final step. It removes hesitation. It makes booking the obvious automatic next move. And the confidence on your part, it reinforces their belief that they're making the right choice. So what's the one reason why people don't buy? It's not the spouse, it's not just getting quotes, and it's not your price. It's that they don't truly believe that you're any different. They don't believe that you're better. And when belief isn't there, they fall back to price. But when you build belief with speed, professionalism, rapport, gratitude, and guidance, you win. Because in home services, the cheapest doesn't always win. The one that instills belief does. For all my exact frameworks on how to build a successful remote cleaning business, head over to johnmargalit.com for all the details. You can gain access today. I'll see you in the next one.